Hi, this is Michael William Denny of the ThunderWizard.com YouTube channel. So welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about the first step necessary in order to exit the matrix. There are three main steps, and if you haven't, go ahead and watch the first video where I talk about the three steps in general, and then I go into each one of the steps individually in depth. And so today we're going to talk about the first step. So just very briefly, what are the three steps? The first step to exit the matrix is that you are an infinite soul that has chosen to download itself and experience this video game we call the matrix, which we call 3D reality. So that's the first step. We're going to get into that. Second step is you have to gain power. The knowledge that you are infinite and that you created the matrix isn't always enough. You need to gain power. So that's why I teach all of these energy practices and meditations, because those meditations give you the power to actually bend the rules. And when you start bending the rules of the matrix, then you start to realize that it is a false reality and that you can escape. And then you go to step three. Step three is you take the power that you've gained from step two, and you use that to rewrite your programming, which is programmed into your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is actually the projector that projects the matrix, that projects this false reality. In order to change the matrix and exit it, you have to rewrite the program in your unconscious, and that takes power. So, back to step one. So, in order to get this first step, you've got to get rid of all limiting beliefs. And what it means is that people are beginning to sense that there is something beyond this reality, this limited reality. So that's the positive thing. Now, the downside of it is that you will never exit the matrix as long as you believe that you are limited. If you believe that God created you, that you are sinful, that any entity or being in the universe has the power to control you, dominate you, deceive you, trap you, imprison you, feast off of you. As long as you believe that that is possible, you will never exit the matrix. I don't care what you do, because you have to change that assumption. Because in order to get to steps 2 and 3, you first have to adopt the assumption that you are infinite, that you created yourself, that yes, the matrix is real, but you created the matrix and you chose to live in it. And that all of the challenges in life, no matter how painful, no matter how horrible, are challenges that you wrote into the program in order so that you could overcome it. You chose to forget that you were infinite, because if you remembered that you were infinite, then you wouldn't be able to play the game. You wouldn't be able to learn and grow. The whole point of the matrix, the reason why you created the matrix, is because your infinite soul, when it's in infinity, it's only in this state of bliss. There's no time, there's no space, there's no limitation. And so the soul wants more than that. It wants to have fun, just like when we watch a movie or just like when we watch a video game. That's what your life is. This body, this meat bag that houses your brain, is an android computer that you've downloaded your soul into so that you can play the game. This is your avatar. My avatar is Michael William Denny. I'm 5'9", 200 pounds. I'm 53 years old. I like to surf. I've got green eyes. I had this past, blah, blah, blah. These were my parents. That's my avatar. That's the avatar that I created for myself. And then my soul put itself into this meat bag. The brain is a computer. It's not your mind. The brain is a computer that you use to interface with the matrix. Without it, you wouldn't be able to interface with the game. This is why our soul has to stay in the body until we exit the body. When we exit the body, then we go back to infinity. And then what happens is you go back over your life and you go, there was all kinds of things that I wanted to learn, and oh, I almost got that one. Oh, I missed it. I got trapped in fear. I want to learn that. Okay, I'm going to go back in. And then you rewrite the program. You change little things. You make it a little harder for yourself or a little easier. You change your avatar. You change the other players, whatever it is, and then you go back in and you do it again. because you want to learn and you want to grow. That is the assumption. Now, I give this understanding, and people will say, and they get so angry, and they say, why in the world would anybody choose to live in horrible situations? And for some reason, everybody always comes up with this hypothetical, which is, what about a 4-year-old child who is raped? Now, I know this happens. Don't get me wrong. I know that kids are abused. I know that people go through horrible things. And so while we're in this video game, we can't imagine why anybody would choose to go through that. But understand that the soul does not see these limitations. And so it's like when you watch a horror movie, or when you're watching a movie and horrific things happen in the movie that you would not want to experience, but you want to watch that. It's entertaining. Same thing with video games. This is because the soul wants challenges. And the more challenging it is, the harder it is to wake up in the dream. But the more challenging it is, when you do wake up in the dream, you get to a whole other level within the game. And that's what the soul is trying to achieve. It's trying to get itself to that next level. So the first step really is to, if you're operating from any of these negative belief systems, like religion, religion that says that God created you and that you're evil and that you're going to go to hell, and that if you don't do this, this, and this, as long as you buy into that, you will be trapped in the matrix for the rest of your life. So the first step is you've got to let go of all of that, and that's going to be frightening. And let me tell you something. This is important because this is something, when I first started running into the flat earthers, and then I realized, hang on a second. First off, these people are starting to wake up, but they're still, what they're bumping into is the limitations. And so that's why they believe that they're trapped, because they're bumping into the limitations. So it's my job to help them break through. So that's not going to be done by, ridiculing people. And the other thing that I realized is that there are people who like being trapped. It's easier to stay trapped in the game than it is to become infinite and move past it. Because when you move past it, you will have to die. You will have to die to your beliefs, to your avatar. You're so attached to your avatar, you're going to have to die to that. You're going to have to be willing to let all that go. And some people aren't ready and aren't willing to do that. And so they create misery for themselves. They create limitation. They choose to be trapped. And they find other people that also want to be trapped and limited, and they create a community, which we would call a cult. All cults are based in fear. So it's important to understand how fear works in the game. And I talk about that in the 5 rules of the Matrix. So you have to understand that the Matrix, the video game, has rules. Now you can bend and even break some of these rules, but you have to understand what the rules are. And I talk about that the game is designed to reward you when you operate from fearlessness, when you take risks, when you do things that are scary for you, and you go for broke. The game rewards you for that. Now, it's hard to do that. The game is designed to tell you not to take risks. The game is designed to tell you to stay in fear. And so when you act on fear, then the game penalizes you for that, and it keeps you trapped in more and more fear. And if you get so trapped in fear, then you get stuck in 2-dimensional matrix, which is where a lot of people are, and we'll talk about that. Anyway, that's it for now. Bottom line is, you are infinite. You created the game. There is nothing that can stop you. Now that you have this, meditate on this, get comfortable with this, and then move to step 2. Right here. Here's a link to step 2, which is bringing in the power to bend the rules, to feel infinite, to feel like you are in fact infinite and you are God. You are the creator of the game. And then we'll move on to step 3. Okay, so that's it for now, my friends. If you like the channel, please go ahead and support. If you don't see the little thing, go down below and support the channel. By the way, thank you for those who are supporting the channel. There are people who have supported the channel, and YouTube won't let me know, who's contributing to that. But just know that I am so grateful for it. And now that you have done this, and I see the response coming from the support, I'm going to do more. And so the more you support this channel, the more that's coming. I'm just going to give you a hint about what's coming. I'm now going to start doing 1 hour live streaming. And these are 1 hour teachings that will go into archives, which anybody can watch. You don't have to watch it live. But if you do watch it live, and I got enough people there watching it live, you can have a live question and answer with me about all kinds of different things. So that's something that's going to start, and I'll talk about that. There's all kinds of new things coming because you are supporting this channel. If you want to help me, also you need to like, subscribe, comment, put any of your questions down below in the comments, and also watch the videos, watch the playlists, binge watch the videos on this channel. Whenever you watch a video, that makes YouTube happy, and it throws me higher up into the ratings, which means more views, which means more support, which means I get to do this. And if I could, I'd be doing this 24 hours a day. So if you want to see more of me, do all those things that I've suggested. And what we can do when we get more and more people to follow these 3 steps and understand the 5 rules, the universe is going to shift. The whole universe will change. But we have to do it together if we want to experience that together. So that's it for now, my friends. Thank you. Until next time, remember, you wrote the game. You have the rule book. You have the power to break out of the game and change it. It's completely up to you. Until